Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. We are back with another freaking stinking video, and right now I am sitting at the hospital. As you guys can see my background, I just wanted to update you guys on what's going on with Xzavier, just because I know like a lot of people on Facebook and a lot of people on my Snapchat like will see my Snapchats and they'll start asking me like, what's wrong with Xzavier, what's going on, have you heard about his results, is he sick, what have they told him, what have they told you, what are you guys gonna do, is he going home, la la la, all of this stuff. So we're here and I'm here to answer all these questions all at once, because I'm not one to be texting everybody left and right, explaining everybody separately of what's going on with my baby. Okay, so let's all go back to the beginning when this all started 2 weeks ago. So 2 weeks ago, Xzavier started getting sick. It was the beginning of Thanksgiving break when the kids are home, so I was like, okay, this is nice. He doesn't have to go to school. I don't have to keep him from school. He could just stay home and be sick and recover. So he had a runny nose, he had coughing. I thought it was a cold. It could have been a cold, it could have been allergies. So he just had a cold and he was very congested. He couldn't breathe really good from his mouth and his nose, and at this point he was getting really irritated. The third day he had a fever of 101.4. And we were giving him Tylenol and his fever was not dropping whatsoever. It would go down to like 100.2 or whatever, but it would just stay around that range. It would not go like back to normal at all. So at this point I was like, all right, I'm just gonna schedule an appointment with his doctor, and I take him late at night to an office called After Hours Pediatrics, and they're open till like 11 at night, which is really convenient for the ones that are like me that have really last minute issues. So here I go, going late to the emergency room, or not to the emergency room, to the little urgent clinic they have. So I went, and the minute we get there, they're about to check his vitals, and he starts throwing up crazy, like an exorcist. Like, I've never seen Xzavier throw up so much, and I got scared because right before that he was super dehydrated and drinking a lot of water. So I think that was like all of it coming up. The doctor said that it's just normal because he had a fever, so his stomach didn't know how to handle that well because he was already hot inside of his body, so it was just kind of like shocked and threw up. So my son isn't really, he's really low on his stress hormone. It's what we have to help us deal with like any kind of stress. Like if we break our bones, if we get sick, we have a stress hormone that helps us deal with our sickness time or whatever, to help us get through it, to help us push. It's like your immune, I guess, to help you push out of being sick. And to Xzavier, he needs that medication given to him because he doesn't know how to physically do it by himself. He doesn't have that hormone in him, so we need to physically give it to him in order for him to work. So I only have to give it to him when he's sick, which his fever was 101, which I should have given it to him. So he went to the doctor, and when he threw up is when you 100% need to give him the medication at that point. So at that moment I was like, okay, he threw up, we need to take him to the hospital, then we need to give him his stress hormone. And keep in mind, I just took him to the clinic urgent care. It wasn't with his primary doctor at the time, so she knew nothing about Xzavier. So I gave her the paper that said like, okay, Xzavier needs to get his hormone, his stress hormone dose given to him as soon as possible. He also needs to be put on like IV fluids just in case he's like dehydrated. He needs to be watched. And at that point the doctor got like scared, and she was like, okay, my mom had this same issue, so I know how to handle it, don't worry, but we need to send him to the hospital. So she said because he has a stress hormone deficiency, we needed to bring him into the hospital so that way they can go ahead and check him and make sure he's okay and didn't like inhale any of his throw up into his lungs or anything like that. So we get to the hospital, they do a bunch of tests. The doctor's like telling me that his ear's a little red, but he doesn't want to diagnose an ear infection just because we diagnose ear infections too often. So he's like, but we're gonna put him on antibiotics just so we can go ahead and get the ear infection taken care of before it gets worse. Pretty much saying that he caught it like early on. So we started giving him antibiotics, as well as we were giving him his stress dose this whole entire time that he's been sick. So then we got sent home. That was on a Friday. Okay, over the weekend they told me that Monday or Tuesday I needed to make a follow-up appointment with his primary doctor. On Tuesday I made the appointment with his primary doctor, and we did a bunch of tests. We did like a swab in his nose to see if he could have had the flu. We also did like virus strips to test for those as well. What else did they do? I think that's it. I think she's just running for the flu and a few and a few viruses, but the answers weren't going to come back right away, so we have to wait for those answers. And she told me that I need to make another appointment for 2 days after that, which that was on Tuesday. I needed to schedule it for Thursday. So that's this week, okay? So it all started 2 weeks ago, and then Friday we went to the ER. Tuesday he's seen his primary doctor, and now we're at Thursday. Okay, so Thursday I took him back to the doctor. She asked me if he was feeling better, and I said no. He's been acting completely the same. He's actually super lethargic. My kid is like acting drunk. Like he'll be sitting there and he's like dozing out of it. And like yesterday I was giving him his medicine, and even in the middle of giving him his medicine I have to like, come on Xzavier, get up, like drink your medicine, because it was like drooling down his mouth because he's so out of it. And I don't understand why. Like, why are you so out of it? I'm not giving you crazy medications to make you out of it. And if this is because you're sick, like we need to figure out why you're sick, because this is not you and this is not how you act. So at this point I'm like irritated and I don't know what to do. And the doctor told me on Thursday that, which is yesterday, Thursday, she told me that that there's really nothing we can do at this point, that all the tests came back negative. She's not sure what to do, and that she doesn't have the equipment to work from her office right away. So at this point she said that if Xzavier keeps acting lethargic, lethargic means, if you guys don't know, this is something I just found out, lethargic means when you're like super lazy, super out of it, like you just want to be laying in bed, you have no energy whatsoever to do any kind of movement. So that's my son. He was super lethargic. He just wanted to be in bed, completely out of it, didn't want to eat, barely wanted to drink. So she said that if he continues that way, or with the fever, to bring him to the hospital so that way they can run the test. Then I got home and I started thinking, like, you know what, you're right, like I should just take him into the hospital. Like I don't want to wait till tomorrow, which would have been Friday, because at this point Friday gets too crazy in the hospital, and I'm not trying to have my son wait any longer just because stupid people want to come complain that they're too drunk or whatever kind of issues they have down in the ER. I don't know, I seen a show yesterday. So anyways, at this point I was like, I'm gonna take him in. I need to take him in. So I told my mom, I'm like, hey, you know what, Mom, I'm just gonna take Xzavier into the doctors because I don't want to wait till Friday. A lot of the lab tests that are closed on the weekends would hit when I'm going, because I'd be going in on a Friday. So I didn't want to hit that like time frame, so I could be shitted out of luck throughout the whole weekend and have to wait till Monday to get some results about my baby. So I was like, no, I'm gonna go Thursday so they can have a whole ass day to figure out what they need to figure out. I ended up going to the emergency room right away that same day, and I told him, you know what, like I'm exhausted, I don't know what to do no more. My baby doesn't stop crying, he keeps getting fevers, he is super out of it, he doesn't want to get out of bed, he doesn't want to eat. Like at this point I'm scared because this is not my baby, and this hasn't been my baby for about 2 weeks now, and I don't know what the hell to do. His primary doctor doesn't know what to do, and this is my last resource. And she's like, well, it could be many things, so let's go ahead and run some tests. They ran basic tests, the same tests that they ran at my primary doctors, at Xzavier's primary doctors, they ran again here, and everything rolled back negative. And they're like, well, it could be, no, I don't want to hear it could be this or it could be that, or maybe it's this, or you know what I mean? No, I'm over those answers. It's been 2 weeks too long to just be worrying about maybes and it could be and this, that, and the other. No, I need a straight ass answer, and I'm not leaving this hospital until I get that straight answer. So that is exactly why we're in this situation today, because yesterday, Thursday, when I went to go see my primary doctor, I told her specifically, hey, you know what, I'm not going to leave the hospital until I get some answers. And she specifically told me, don't leave the hospital until I get some answers, because at this point there's nothing we can do at my primary office that we can't do at the hospital. So I know they got to do what they got to do here. So I told them I'm not leaving. So they ended up admitting us into a room upstairs in the pediatrics. So we're here now. They're running a whole bunch of tests. They're running so that port, he has a port that I explained to you guys on my first video about Xzavier, about him being blind and all that. So this port, that it goes through a vein to his heart, and it's for to easily get blood drawn from him, because he does have to be on a growth hormone, and that is the easiest way to access blood, because he's a hard person to stick. You can't find his veins whatsoever, and if you do, they'll move around and you miss them, and you just make my baby suffer. So at this point, that is the only resort that there is to getting blood drawn, to getting fluids in his system, anything. That is like the #1 best thing to do. So they told me that because he had a fever for so long and he's being so lethargic, it could be that he has an infection throughout the port. And if that was to happen, they put him on some really strong antibiotics that would help with like anything general. So they put him on that, and he's been on that, but he's still super lethargic. They also think he might have a urinary infection, which he's getting tests for that as well. And at this point, they put him under a test where they test like all these viruses, and they're between 25. At his primary doctors and downstairs, they only did it within like 5. So I was like, I'm not leaving with no answers here, okay? So they ended up putting him on this like virus check for like 25, who the hell knows how many virus, to see if at least one of them comes back positive, so we have a clear view of what is going on and what we need to do now. But at this point, he's only on antibiotics, on the strongest antibiotics that they have to help any infection, just because we really don't know what's going on and we don't want to play the waiting game. So we're just gonna try to get ahead of whatever's going on. So for now, that's what's happening. Some of the results also, they're explaining to me that they have to leave like throughout some time with some liquid, and like it'll grow something. I'm not really sure how that works or what tests they're really running, like some bacterial tests as well. So I did all these tests, okay? And so out of all those 25 tests, hopefully one of them comes back positive, so that way we know what to do at this point and we can get it all taken care of. But they're running mad tests right now, and a lot of them won't be back within like 12, 17, 24 hours. So we're here and we're waiting, and I will keep you guys updated. But for now, let me go ahead and show you guys Xzavier. He fell asleep like at 3, which is 5:56 now. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys. Let me see, let me turn on the light. Let me go ahead and show you guys how he looks right now. I know my hair's a mess, guys, but I'm showered, and like I showered yesterday before we came to the hospital. But let me show you guys Xzavier. Puppy, oh, you okay? Hi, Papa. Hi. Oh, someone's here. Hold on. My bad. His nurses came in. They just left. They gave him a suppository. It's been 5 days today that he has not used the restroom. And I know this is a little bit of TMI, Gladys. Nobody needs to know your son didn't poop, but this is part of the reason why we're also here, okay? I don't know if that's why if that's why he's having fevers. I know nothing. All I know is my kid has not pooped in 5 days. They gave him a suppository. He still hasn't used the restroom. This morning they gave him Miralax. I gave him Miralax yesterday, and he still hasn't used the restroom. They just started him on fluids just right now. See that? They just started him on fluids because he needs to go ahead and wet some diapers, so that way we can get some more urine samples, so they can run some more tests. So they're starting him on fluid, so that way it can be easier for them to get pee, because he's not drinking so often, so his pee is coming out slowly, which means we have to wait longer for results and longer to see if the pee is even enough to wait for another pee. So we're just gonna get it all taken care of and just put him on some fluids. And they said it's not even like a lot of fluids, just a little bit of fluids. He's awake now. I woke him up. He's doing a little bit better. Let me show you guys my baby. Masha? Hi, Papa. Are you okay? Are you feeling like caca? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so I didn't even tell you guys what I didn't even put this in my explanation that I was explaining to you guys. Wednesday, which today's Friday, yesterday was Thursday. Wednesday night, I realized and I noticed that he has some sores in his mouth. His gums are really red up here, and then he had like little bumps all over his like gums and then his tongue, and I flipped out because I'm like, I don't know what's going on and I need to know what the heck's going on with my baby. So I was like looking in his mouth, and I take really good care of my kids' teeth because I work in a dental office, so I'm like no, there's nothing wrong with my baby's teeth. There's no way something could be wrong with my baby's teeth. Took him to the doctor, did an x-ray, to the dentist, did an x-ray. His teeth are not rotting, so that like took that out of consideration. But he does have these bumps in his mouth, and I'm not sure if that's why he's having fevers also, or he's getting fevers, or he got those because of the fevers. I know nothing. So that's why we're here. We're trying to get answers for everything and anything. Let me see if I can show you guys his blisters in his mouth. A ver, papi. Abre la boca. 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 Don't look at my fingers, guys. They look gross. I haven't done my nails. Ay, ay. Open your mouth. Abre la boca. Abre la boca. Abre la boca. Wah. Abre la boca. Wah. Okay, no, he's not for it, guys. But anyways, he does have bumps in his mouth. They're also swabbing those to see what's going on, to see if it anything it could be. So I will keep you guys updated. We've been here since 4 o'clock this morning. 2 o'clock. We showed up to the ER at like 8 last night, but we got admitted into a room around 2 in the morning. So we've been here since 2 in the morning and no answers. We're waiting for answers. You okay? You okay? You see that, guys? You see how he's dozing out of it? Like, he'll close his eyes. Like, he just woke up from his nap. Like, there's no way that he could be tired. Like, by now, he should have already been up and moving. Like, I'm trying to see if I can show you his mouth. You okay, puppy? And this isn't normal, you know? Like, my kid is a very happy baby. Like, he loves to walk, he loves to talk, he loves to play, and like, this isn't like my baby. So at this point, I'm like, something is wrong with my baby. Excuse me. And I'm not leaving this hospital until I get some answers. So I be looking like crap, but we're here trying to get some answers for my baby, because we're not leaving without no answers. So guys, if you haven't already, smash this video with a thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube channel, turn on your post notifications, stay tuned for our next video, because we're going to be updating on what's going on, results, what we've heard, and all that good stuff, because I am stressed out. Okay guys, I haven't slept that well. I don't know what's wrong with my baby at this point. I feel like I'm helpless. Like, there's nothing I can do, and I feel like shit because I can't take the pain away from him, and I know he's in pain, and there's nothing we can do about it, because there's nothing that we know, nothing at this point that we know. So he could be hurting because his stomach hurts because he's backed up on poop. He could be hurting because of his blisters in his mouth. He could be hurting because of the fevers. Anything. I don't even know what's going on, and I just feel so helpless for my poor baby, and I need answers. So I'm not leaving this hospital until I get answers. So I will let you guys know what type of answers we have. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and we'll see you guys on my next video. Bye. Say bye, Xzavier. See you on my next video.